Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to present I Sees More with Wirepas Mesh, where we will explore how Wirepas Mesh technology expands the capabilities of I ecosystem. My name is Gintarė Naraškevičiūtė. I am Operational Marketing Coordinator. And joining me is Vytenis Kibildis, Product Owner, who will also be answering your questions in the Q&A at the end of the session. Let us begin with a quick overview of today's agenda. First, we will discuss Bluetooth technology and key challenges business face when using traditional Bluetooth solutions. Then, we will introduce Wirepas Mesh technology and explain how it addresses those limitations. After that, we will explore what opportunities this technology opens doors. We also present smart monitoring capabilities with iMesh tags. Next, we will cover key business benefits that Wirepas Mesh can deliver. And finally, we will finish with a Q&A session where we will answer all your questions. Before we go deeper, let's first take a step back and remember how Bluetooth I devices communicate with Teltonika tracker. The tracker acts as a central device in the system. Bluetooth I beacons and I sensors broadcast their information using Bluetooth low energy. When the tracker is within range, it detects these signals and collects the data from nearby devices. After that, the tracker forwards the collected information to the server using cellular connectivity. Now let us look at the first challenge when using Bluetooth solution in larger environments: scalability. A simple idea might be to solve coverage by installing more trackers in a warehouse. In smaller environments, this can work perfectly, and you can use Teltonika Bluetooth sensors and beacons. But when the site becomes larger and more complex, things quickly change. Think about a typical warehouse. You may have storage areas, offices, corridors, and loading zones. To cover all these spaces, you would need many trackers placed across the facility. This creates several challenges. First, installation becomes more complex. Every tracker needs power, mounting, and configuration. Second, each tracker requires connectivity, which usually means additional SIM cards or network infrastructure. And as a result, costs increase quickly. In some cases, the cost of installing and maintaining the infrastructure can become higher than the tracking hardware itself. So while Bluetooth-based tracking works well in smaller environments, scaling it in large facilities becomes difficult. When we start looking at large warehouses or industrial sites, another challenge appears: device density. At first glance, the solution may seem simple. You might think, just install the Teltonika tracker and let it detect all nearby beacons. However, in practice, it does not work that easily. Each tracker has a limit on how many Bluetooth devices it can process at the same time. If there are too many beacons in the area, the tracker simply cannot handle all signals simultaneously. This is why device density becomes an important challenge when deploying Bluetooth solutions in large environments. Bluetooth can absolutely be used for indoor tracking, but it does come with some limitations. First, it works best in low-density environments, because each tracker can only process a limited number of Bluetooth devices at the same time. Second, it's not very scalable. As the site grows, you need more trackers across different zones to maintain the coverage. And this leads to the third issue: cost. More trackers mean more installation work, additional wiring, device maintenance, and sometimes extra SIM cards. So while Bluetooth works well in smaller deployments, it can become complex and expensive when scaling to large facilities. So how can we overcome these Bluetooth challenges? One possible answer is Wirepas Mesh technology. With Wirepas Mesh, instead of relying on a single device to detect many beacons, Devices communicate with each other and form a network. Data can hop between anchors until it reaches a gateway. This approach solves the problems we discussed earlier. First, the network becomes scalable because new devices can simply join the mesh. Second, it supports high-density environments where thousands of devices can operate in the same area. Third, low power means the network is designed to minimize energy consumption, allowing battery-powered devices to operate for years without frequent maintenance or replacement. At the same time, infrastructure requirements are lower since fewer gateways are needed. Another advantage is that device can be managed remotely, allowing mass configuration and firmware updates across the entire network. Also, it's a self-healing network that automatically reroutes data if one device fails or signal weakens. I have a feeling that most of our attendees, this technology is totally new. So let's quickly look at the devices that form a mesh network. As you can see, there are three main components. First, iMesh tags in blue, which are attached to the assets and transmit the tracking data. Second, anchors in white, which create the meshed infrastructure across the entire site. And third, gateway in red, which connects the mesh network to the server. In the next slides, I will briefly explain the role of each device and how they work together in a network. Gateways connect the mesh network to the internet. Their role is to connect the data from the mesh network and forward it to the cloud or backend platforms for further analysis and monitoring. Because anchors provide the main network coverage through the site, only small number of gateways are needed. This reduces infrastructure requirements while still ensuring full connectivity across the deployment. Gateways also enable seamless platform integration, giving the users full visibility and control over operation across the entire site. Anchors are the backbone of the mesh network. They form and maintain the mesh, forward data between devices, enable reliable self-healing communication. Because the network operates without central control, there is no single point of failure. Anchors are battery-powered and do not require SIM card or wire connection, which simplifies installation and reduces infrastructure cost. We work with our partners and can offer anchors and gateways, so if you are interested, please contact your sales manager. And of course, Teltonika iMesh tags. In the mesh network, the tags are the devices that capture the data. Let's explore what benefits brings Teltonika iMesh tags. In the mesh network, the tags are the devices that capture the data. Here we have our new iBeacon mesh and iSensor mesh. The iBeacon mesh is primarily used for asset identification and location tracking. It sends its ID through the Wirepas Mesh network, allowing the system to determine where the asset is located. It also supports magnet detection, which makes it useful for applications such as door monitoring or similar use cases. Another advantage is long battery life, which can reach up to 10 years depending on configuration and environment. The iSensor mesh, on the other hand, is designed for condition monitoring. In addition to location tracking, it can measure movement, temperature, or humidity, providing more detailed information about the asset or environment. This makes it suitable for applications such as indoor asset monitoring or environmental tracking. Its battery life can reach up to 10 years depending on configuration and usage. Let me walk you through how Wirepas communication works. iMesh tags first send data to nearby anchors. Anchors then forward its data across the entire network. It moves from another anchor to another until it reaches the gateway, following the most efficient path. The gateway collects the data and sends it to the end-user application. This mesh structure ensures reliable communication as the network can always find an alternative route if needed. I believe that most of you telematics service providers are familiar with outdoor asset tracking using GNSS and cellular connectivity. But once assets move indoors, into warehouses or factories, visibility is lost. This is where Wirepas Mesh technology comes in. Its purpose is to enable reliable and scalable indoor asset tracking. Previously, indoor tracking was too expensive or technically limited. Wirepas solves this because devices communicate with each other and extend coverage automatically. So instead of losing visibility indoors, you can track assets across the entire journey. Now just look at how fast the indoor location market is growing. It's expected to almost triple just in 5 years. This growth is driven by the need for better customer experience, smarter buildings, and more efficient operations. But rapid growth also brings challenges. As more devices and use cases appear, it becomes harder to ensure accuracy, scalability, and reliability. One of the first challenges we encounter is cost, especially when deploying Bluetooth-based solutions at scale. Let's take a simple example: a hospital with 1,000 rooms and just 5 assets in rooms. That already gives us around 5,000 assets to track. Now let's see what this means in practice. In traditional Bluetooth setup, each room needs its own gateway. That means 1,000 rooms require 1,000 gateways. That total cost is $400,000 and installation time is 2,000 hours. To track 5,000 assets, we also need 5,000 beacons, with total cost of $125,000 and almost 200 hours of installation time. Together, the total hardware and installation cost reaches over the $500,000 and 54 weeks of installation time. This shows how in traditional Bluetooth setup, both cost and installation effort increase quickly as the number of rooms grows. The environment stays the same: 1,000 rooms and 5,000 assets. What changes is the infrastructure. In mesh setup, the infrastructure requirements is significantly reduced. Instead of installing a gateway in every room, only 10 gateways are needed, with a total cost of 4,000 euros and around 20 hours of installation time. To build a mesh network, we add 1,000 anchors through the facility, bringing the cost to 5,000 euros and requiring approximately 83 hours to install. For tracking 5,000 assets, we also need 5,000 tags, with a total cost of 150,000 euros and around 167 hours of installation time. Together, the full mesh deployment reaches a total cost of 204,000 euros and around just 11 days of installation time. Let's bring everything together. Compared to Bluetooth setup, Wirepas Mesh solution is twice cheaper and installation time is 20 times faster. This highlights the key advantage of mesh architecture. Infrastructure does not scale with the number of rooms. Devices communicate with each other, reducing the need for gateways and installation effort. Let's look at more common challenges seen in real-life use cases. Without telematic solutions, employees can spend over 1 hour per shift searching for equipment or assets. At the same time, limited visibility often leads from 10 to 20% of excess equipment purchases. And again, like I mentioned before, these inefficiencies reduce productivity, increase operational cost, and can delay critical processes. So the key question becomes, how do we solve all those challenges at once? Let's look at the first example: warehouse equipment tracking. Let me walk you through how this works. First, we install anchors at fixed points in the warehouse, typically at aisle enters, for example, at aisle A and aisle B and aisle C. Each of these anchors represents a specific aisle zone. Then assets are equipped with eye sensor mesh tags, as you can see here on the palette. These tags continuously communicate with nearby anchors. When an asset is placed in an aisle, the closest anchor receives its signal. Then the system determines the location based on the strongest signal, so we know which aisle the asset is in. All anchor data is passed through the mesh network to the gateways, as you can see here on the wall, which forward it to the back-end system. When the asset moves, either within the aisle or to another one, the strongest signal changes and the location updates automatically. The tags also detect movement, so they report more frequently when moving and less when stationary, helping balance responsiveness and battery life. This setup gives reliable eye-level visibility without needing dense infrastructure. Now let's move to the second scenario, where we increase accuracy. Instead of tracking only the aisle, we can now identify exactly which rack the asset is stored in. Here, as you can see, anchors are installed directly on the rack structures, for example on vertical columns or specific rack sections. If needed, we can even place them across different rack levels to identify the height. Assets, as you can see here on the racks, are equipped with iBeacon mesh tags, which broadcast a unique ID. Nearby anchors receive this signal. Because each anchor is linked to a specific rack or rack segment, the system can determine not just the aisle, but the exact rack location of the asset. When the asset is moved, the system automatically updates its position based off the nearest anchors. Gateway remains the same, on the wall, instead installed in the strategic location. To increase accuracy, we simply add more anchors, not more gateways. This setup is ideal for high-value or stored goods where the precise location really matters. Now let's look at how Wirepas Mesh works in a hospital environment, where assets are on the different floors. First, all movable assets, such as ventilators, infusion pumps, wheelchairs, or beds, are equipped with compact iBeacon mesh tags. Each tag broadcasts a unique ID, so staff always knows exactly what equipment it is. Next, anchors are installed in every room or zone. These act as fixed reference points for location tracking. The tags communicate with nearby anchors, allowing the system to determine the exact location of each asset within the building. We can also assign assets to specific rooms or zones. If an item is moved without following expected workflow, the system immediately sends an alert. This helps prevent loss, theft, or equipment hoarding. All data is passed through the mesh network to the gateways, which are installed per floor and forward the information to the back-end system. The Wirepas Mesh network is self-healing, meaning if one device fails, data is automatically rerouted, ensuring continuous operation. As a result, hospital staff can see where equipment is and quickly find the nearest available device. Now, after looking at the challenges and real-life use cases, let me summarize the value. Wirepas Mesh is designed to scale efficiently. Whether it's a warehouse or a hospital, you can cover large facilities without increasing infrastructure complexity. It also simplifies deployment. There's a less planning and fewer installation points. Because devices connect and extend the network automatically as more are added. Because devices communicate with each other, it helps avoid tracking blind spots. This ensures continuous visibility across the entire environment. As a result, equipment and assets are always where they should be, improving daily operations and reducing time wasted searching. And importantly, all of this comes with a lower infrastructure cost compared to the traditional solutions because fewer gateways are needed. In short, Wirepas Mesh turns asset tracking into scalable, reliable, and cost-efficient solution. I would like also to highlight that our software partners have already started exploring indoor use cases and testing Wirepas Mesh solution. I am pleased to share that some of our early adopters are already making the progress. GPS Gate has already integrated an indoor tracking solution into their platform. We are also in discussions with Gurtam and their GPS Trace platform. They are taking dedicated approach by developing a new design tailored specifically for Wirepas Mesh technology. At the same time, Kansas are actively testing iMesh tags within their systems. So if you are working with a software platform and see the potential in indoor tracking, we would be happy to collaborate. Feel free to reach out to us. Now just look around you. Every city is full of buildings like offices, hospitals, shops, and industrial sites. All of them have one thing in common. They manage assets, equipment, and people every day. And all of them face the same challenge, lack of visibility. With Wirepas Mesh, this challenge becomes an opportunity to improve efficiency, reduce cost, and make operations smoother. This is where mesh-based tracking makes a real difference. Don't forget that I sees more with Wirepas Mesh. Thank you all for joining us today.